try this again because I could hear myself a minute ago, which was really odd, as if I was listening to myself, kind of like a Zoom meeting. I don't know what that means, but I'm back. And hopefully, people that I shared the link with, matter of fact, let me go on my Facebook group and let everyone know that it's actually a new link on YouTube because of crazy technical difficulties, whatever. Thank you for bearing with me. I am coming on here right now to talk about shadow work and what that means in terms of my topic of expertise. And that's in relation to natural fibroid elimination and how important it is. So, one moment while I go here and say, let's see, new link was made because this live stream link was corrupted. To head over, no, to attend, go to my YouTube and look for the new live stream link. All right, I think I did that. Thank you for bearing with me there. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, let's jump right into it. When I had fibroids, and if you don't know, I had fibroids. I was diagnosed with uterine fibroids in 2012. Never having heard of fibroids, I didn't know anything about what a fibroid was. And lo and behold, I have this crazy, horrible problem. Let me clean my screen there. With heavy bleeding, and I go to the doctor and they tell me, oh, you have fibroids. So that's kind of how I found out I had fibroids. And up until that point, I had no experience with fibroids. So the journey that I went through from being diagnosed with fibroids, it was like an immediate crash course into being forced to face and deepen my relationship to self, deepen and learn and opened up my knowledge of self or lack thereof. And, it just forced me to be real with myself. Now, when I was going through this, it took me about 2 years to become naturally fibroid free. And that's what I coach on now. If you're interested in coaching, email me, fibroidfreedom@gmail.com, or go over to Operation Fibroid Freedom and check out my services for fibroid elimination specifically. But what I learned is there was a lot of work that had to be done and needed to be done, and just a lot of deeper aspects of my non-physical self, my relationship to self, my outlook on myself and the world, how I move through the world, that hadn't been done, that needed to be addressed in order to balance, achieve balance in my womb energies. That also led to balance in my hormones, which directly relates to fibroids in terms of estrogen dominance, which is the main, most common subject of hormonal imbalance. The underlying cause, by and large, is estrogen dominance. And a lot of times, as a natural fibroid freedom coach, practitioner, I've noticed that a lot of us tend to focus on the practical, the physical hands-on aspects of shrinking fibroids and getting our body to cultivate fibroid dissolving, fibroid shrinking energies. And that's perfectly fine. It makes sense, but we cannot leave out, and I can't overestimate how equally, if not more important, depending on who you are, it is to do the non-physical work that is seeding and creating the um, any emotional toxicities, any emotional turmoil, imbalance, any trauma, um, anything that has led up to how we are at present moment when we find out we have fibroids, when we decide we want to shrink them naturally and we're serious about it, we have to take stock of and really be clear, gain clarity on everything that has led us to the point that we find ourselves at, from being a child, maybe from even before we were a child, when we were a baby. We have to start doing work to unlock our evolution up until this point that has grown our mindset, and shaped our non-physical self just as much as our physical body. So that's why I wanted to talk about shadow work and fibroids, because that is exactly what shadow work is. Shadow work is being talked about a lot more these days. It's I guess one of those cool topics to throw out there, the topic of shadow work. It's maybe a little bit trendy, I don't know. I'm not really into the trends. Really, when you start looking, when you're really serious about natural fibroid elimination or reversing sickness and disease naturally and holistically, trends, it has nothing to do with trends. And you realize that there's nothing new under the sun. They just have fancy names and titles for the same stuff that everybody has to go through or will have to face at some point in their lives if they're in this realm and have a body and are serious about evolving and serious about growing and serious about achieving the biggest, greatest goals and your wildest dreams. If you want to see that, you're going to have to go through a series of metamorphoses. And fibroids is kind of like a huge signal that you're not doing any of the work to lay the groundwork for that balance, to have a solid foundation for you to evolve into the fullness of who you're supposed to be as a goddess, as somebody who is addressing all the areas of her life. And that could be for a lot of reasons, which is why shadow work is so important. So first I want to make the case for why, if you don't really give this topic too much thought, you may want to start doing that. And that's because fibroids are a physical manifestation of toxins that may have come from physical aspects, but also non-physical aspects of our life, like stress and anxiety, like unaddressed trauma, or maybe even trauma or negative emotions that we've tucked away and allowed to fester and go unaddressed. It's like out of control creative energy. Think of fibroids like that, or out of control womb energy, or like desires that you don't seek, dreams that you don't pursue, right? And that's something that I noticed personally for your own case study. If you're looking for a more concrete example, before I found out I had fibroids, I knew from a young age that I always wanted to sing and create and pursue the aspect of myself that was a performer. And I had been singing up until that point since I was little. Like I would sing all the time at home or around family and that kind of thing. But I had these desires that I wanted to sing, like, on big stages in front of a lot of people. And throughout the years, I pressed that down because I was, afraid. So that's kind of a little bit of an example of where I was not doing the shadow work. But I will say I know that I succeeded in shrinking fibroids naturally because I did put myself in situations after I became about 20 years old where I started to face the things that I knew I really wanted to do, but they made me uncomfortable. So in there is a little bit of a clue for some of us where you may want to start to make some steps, and you will see some big healing payback as it relates to your own shadow work. One of the easiest prompts that I can think of for some of us, is what inspires you most about, your favorite people, you know? And to take that a step further, what is it that you want to do in life? Who is it that you want to be? And based on, like, if we're talking professionally, for example, because we can go into shadow work with love, we can talk about it with career, we can go into it with our family planning and what we want to see in our lives. But a common, really telling way to unearth truths about ourselves and do some shadow work is what our goals and dreams, our desires are for ourselves, um, individually, professionally. What do you see yourself doing or being? And why? Ask yourself why. What is driving that? And who are some of your biggest inspirations that are already actively, showing up in those spaces? And why do you admire them? You know? And what is different about you as opposed to those people? And why have you not gotten to that point where the people that you admire are? What's stopping you? What are you afraid of? I'm saying that because I learned something early on with shadow work, and that it really is a tool, it's a gift. Like, it's scary in some respects. It's really scary because it makes us face aspects of ourselves and our lives that we are not comfortable sharing, or maybe we don't want to face, we don't want to give attention to, because it makes us uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable back when I used to be afraid to sing in front of people, to think about what I would do and how I would feel out of control, and what if I messed up. Fear of failure, all these things start welling up. Um, but that is how you learn about yourself. And when you start moving through the fear, you get rewards in that. You may fall flat on your face the first time. I did fall flat on my face the first time. Oh my God. And that story still is embarrassing to me now. But I did it. And, now I've had multiple bands. I've performed all over the world, actually. I almost said country, but then I forgot I performed in Italy multiple times. I even took this amazing acting class that I tell everybody about. That was another thing that got me out of my comfort zone and was terrifying. I'm talking to the point where I had anxiety induced rashes and eczema. I was at the doctor asking them why I was itching all over with no rash, and they're like, "You're not speaking your truth," and that kind of thing. I went through a lot. That was a year of shadow work. But I did learn. And that's why I ask you, what do you see, and who? Identify people that you see that are actively showing up in the spaces that you would like to show up, and ask yourself why you are not doing that. I say that because I learned from that experience a lot of times what we admire in others um, is something that we will excel at if we give attention and overcome the fear and become active in that arena, in that sphere ourselves, right? And usually the things that scare us the most, the activities, the actions, professions, whatever, um, forms of creative expression that scare us the most will give us the biggest reward if we pursue them. Now, that relates to uterine fibroids, because when we face these fears and we take action, well, I have a, hey, the real deal. How are you? You're right and timely about personal foundational work. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that, the timeliness, because again, I try to move intuitively with my messages, and I just trust that somebody will be interested. And I really appreciate getting the feedback immediately. It shows me that, Again, you have to trust your intuitive leading and make moves even when you're not sure. I was not sure I was going to talk about this, if I should talk about this. Never really know exactly what people want to hear, but at the same time, you know, you have a calling to talk on something or to make a certain action. And you have to trust that. And that's part of what I'm trying to touch on that I learned about myself with having fibroids and shrinking them naturally. But back to what I was saying, as far as facing and pursuing things that scare us the most, usually will give you the biggest healing um, rewards, healing payback, and maybe even accelerate that healing. And that is because with the topic of fibroids, it leads to balancing your womb energy. I feel like personal missions are individual. Everyone, I always lose the little comment there. Where did it go? Top chat. Oh, everyone has different callings to follow. They should follow. Totally. Totally. And that's, you know, speaks to the fact that we all are here for certain reasons. We all are here for a reason. We're all different, but we all have a very integral part in the active healing and propelling forward of the consciousness of the collective. We're all connected. We all have these gifts and talents. And, you know, our job, part of our job here, because I don't have all the answers, right? Who has all the answers? But what I do know is we are here while we're in this realm to connect to others. And we're also, when we are interacting with each other in this realm, we are reflecting. We are seeing a reflection of ourselves in what we are looking at, what the universe, the world is showing and revealing, reflecting back to us, you know, which is another topic of shadow work. And it's so, it's revealing. It's revealing about ourselves if we're open enough to realize that, first of all, we are all connected and that what we may be seeing is telling us something about ourselves. There's always a message if you want to look at the world in that way. But the womb, the mind to womb connection is huge. Fibroids are a sign that the womb energy and the womb power is not being addressed. Things are kind of out of balance. Energies are probably stagnant and just piling up on top of each other. And inside of that are memories, traumas, things that you didn't say that you wished you said, experiences that you just want to close up and never think about again. I have a lot of those. But shrinking fibroids naturally is congruent to how many of those you're going to go back and say, you know what, actually, no, I'm not going to allow this to sit under here. I'm going to pull this back out. I'm going to look at it. That's what shadow work makes you do with the so-called negative situations, emotions, energies, aspects of yourself. You're going to look at it. You're going to pull it out of this layer of stuff in the energetic, beautiful energetic body that is part of you. And you're going to say, okay, what is this? Yes, it's ugly. No, I don't want to share this with other people. I don't want anybody to see this. But the thing to note about it is if you don't do this and look at it, it's going to come out anyway and people will know. See? We think and we move through the world thinking that people don't see our dirt, people don't see our baggage, but people see it. And the best thing we can do is take stock of the aspects of ourselves that we don't and would rather not show to the outside world by uncovering these traumas and memories and really allowing ourselves to look at them so that we can control, instead of letting that energy sit there out of control and connect to other stuff and connect and throw off your hormones and feed fibroids. If you go back and look at it, as ugly as it is, you start to take control over that, and then you can also wield what happens with that energy. That's called transmuting energy. Okay? If you don't do that, the energy has the control. And that's when fibroids are like, this is the best, most comfortable situation for us. We're going to stay in this womb because she's not doing any work. She's eating horribly. She's not exercising. So as long as she eats these burgers, you know, drinks all this coffee, eats these cakes and stays like sad and we're good. We're just going to get big and fat. The more you take stock of the parts of yourself that are easily triggered, that's a big one. Being easily triggered, things that maybe for some, always finding fault in other people. Other examples of shadow work, repressing things or projecting onto other people. All of these are examples of our shadow selves that we may think people cannot identify, but if somebody is a little bit more evolved and is doing this type of a work, you can easily identify this in other people and see that they are not healed and that they may be really hurting or that they really are having a lot of guilt or, that they have been mistreated or something happened in their childhood that has not been worked out. They have abandonment issues. These are all examples of cases where shadow work needs to be done, and may come up for you. But the more that you do that, the more you pulling food out of the straws in the form of your arteries and veins that feed uterine fibroids. So that's why it's important. It's as important as what you're putting into your body, what you're putting onto your body. If you have any sort of emotional distress that you're not addressing, just know that that is a huge food source for infertility, for uterine fibroids, and for estrogen dominance to fester. So some of the best ways you can do easy work in this area, beginner work in this area, journaling is very easy. A lot of people mention journaling, but I don't think a lot of us do it. But journaling is super easy to do, especially if you could just free write and see what comes up. Sometimes you get little clues with that. You can also do breath work for shadow work. And incidentally, breathing is a very healing, cheap, free, easy way to instantly oxygenate your body and your cells. Breathing is very powerful, so do not underestimate the power of just sitting still and taking deep cleansing breaths into your belly and exhaling. Those are little active things that you could be doing to participate in shadow work right now. Now, before I go any further in this, I'm mentioning this because I am relaunching my membership to Womb Hang Clan, which is my goddess membership platform, where I'll be working with anybody that is interested on a month-to-month basis with monthly masterclasses on the work that is rarely done that relates to shrinking fibroids naturally. And that is energy, vibration, shadow work, metaphysics, just about anything that is not tangible, Now, I will be throwing in tutorials. They're bonus content with my smoothies that y'all know I make smoothies all the time, juice recipes. That'll just kind of be stuff that I add in. But if you are serious and you don't really know what type of work it takes, or you just don't have access to an outlet to get in a setting where you can kind of dialogue on aspects of the shadow, aspects of your own emotional toxicity and how to fix that, self-care. Y'all know, I don't know if you know, I just got my I just got my Yoda certification. Not Yoda, although I think Baby Yoda is so cute. I just got my yoga certification last year. So I will be throwing in yoga classes as well. And I am working on tying in yoga to some intuitive prompts for the month of May to help you enhance your shadow work experience. But what I want to do is extend the invitation to anyone interested here in my YouTube family. If you're in Womb Hang Clan already, my free Facebook group, I will be announcing that in the group as well for the goddesses there. But it will be $33.33 a month, and we will do monthly womb healing, womb wellness master classes, as well as I'll be going live at least twice a week, just in general. And everybody that's a member will get those links. They will be hidden from the public, but it'll be diving deeper into topics like manifesting energy, goddess, coming into your goddess energy. And that involves this shadow work. Another aspect of shadow work is understanding how to keep yourself grounded, understanding the importance of grounding and being grounded in your feminine energy, knowing that your womb energy, your womb powers are directly connected to everything you're seeing or not seeing in your life. So I'll be helping you on a month-to-month basis and teaching you and giving you tutorials on ways that you can incorporate and draw closer to nature and work with your energetic vibration, raising your frequency. That's what Womb Hang Clan membership, the goddess level, where it's a paid membership, is going to be all about. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, definitely go over to operationfibroidfreedom.com. And I think the heading for that is, it says join Womb Hang Clan. Thanks for reminding me. Journaling works, but I've been craving coffee cake lately. My downfall. What I do is get a small slice occasionally. Top chat. Do you say cheating's okay to any degree? Well, in order to really answer that, I would need to know exactly what cheating really is to you. I need to know, is it really cheating, or are you considering cheating the second time you had coffee cake? You know, cheating is relative. It's hard for me to answer. But if you do fall off the wagon, right? This is the way I like to look at it. And I was just talking to one of my Fibroid Freedom group coaching intensive clients this morning about that. You don't want to beat yourself up and stay at that setback, because you got to keep going. That will become a thing that will start to feed negativity if you stay there and start beating yourself up, or you have guilt, or you want to just be like, well, I'm not doing a good job, so now I can't do this. I don't stick to my da-da-da. If you don't do it one day, you had some coffee cake, get back on the wagon and know that, no, you can't be cheating every day and thinking that you're going to be shrinking fibroids. You're not going to. But if you fall off within reason, don't stay there. Does that make sense? I hope. That's really the best way I can answer that question without working with you on a one-to-one basis. If you want some deeper access to what that may look like and you're a member, you can kind of request deeper help with that topic, and we could like work through it, you know? So think about going over there and checking out the Goddess membership, and you can kind of request content, and I can help you out with that on a deeper level. But definitely give yourself, okay, good. I'm glad that helped. Give yourself the honor of a window of time that you know that is achievable for you, and start there. If it's 7 days with no coffee cake, then do 7 days with no coffee cake, and don't have any coffee cake within the 7 days. You can't say, well, it's okay to cheat, so I had some coffee cake on the second day. Well, okay, it's the fourth day. I'm going to have another piece. You're not really doing it. Then you're not really about that life, and you got to go back. Okay, maybe you'll have to start with a smaller baby step and say, I'm going to do 4 days, no coffee cake, you know? And if you can't do that, then we may need to talk about some, you know, maybe you need some, a little bit of more of accountability style coaching, or, you know, something for yourself for accountability, to where you can really show up for yourself in order to see your body through, not confusing it with the wrong stimuli, right? Because when you're not sticking to what you know is going to help your body shrink fibroids, that means you don't really believe that you can shrink fibroids. Because if you did, you would adopt that want to incorporate those things into your body more than that coffee cake. And that's where you need to kind of do a switcheroo, transmute that energy, and maybe put some things in front of your eyes, your sight. Focus on some things, some people that inspire you to be better and show up better for yourself. That's all part of this goddess activation. It's all about stepping into and taking ownership of your own stuff and your own ass is the best way that I can say that. Because it's like you have to realize that it's you versus you. I can sit here and talk to you all day, but you have yourself now, and then you have yourself that's up here that you are wanting to be. You want to be this fibroid-free, beautiful goddess. You're already a beautiful goddess, but you want to be the fibroid-free, beautiful goddess. So you need to commit to whatever it takes and put whatever you need in your mindset or in front of your psyche, in front of your eyes, so that you can reach her. Y'all can meet. And that's just switching to a different trajectory. That's switching to a different set of degrees when we talk about the quantum, when we talk about manifesting. But you do that by changing your day-to-day habits and activities. No, you don't have to do them all at once, but you do have to do them. And as you do them, stick to that one and then build upon the one that you already achieved. They all add up to you reaching fibroid freedom. And along that journey, you're going to need some things that are going to help keep you motivated, help keep you steadfast and on that path. And it's hard, yes, but put more focus on people, things, situations that keep you feeling energetically like you are succeeding and you are that goddess that is fibroid free. And that means you're focusing more on those things that shrink fibroids, those activities that shrink fibroids, those habits that shrink fibroids, and less on coffee cake, less on lower vibrational activities, less on lower vibrational emotions, recognizing those emotions, recognizing them for what they are in the moment, and transmuting them, meaning you're going to switch your outlook. Why do I have this? Why am I angry right now? Or why am I talking a lot of crap about this person? Because when we talk crap about people, for example, it's not affecting the person. Our opinion and projection of what we're saying about somebody, someone's situation, it doesn't ever affect them. It affects us. So when we realize that, no, next time that happens, this is just an example, identify that, recognize that you're saying those things probably about some aspect of yourself or some insecurity about yourself. That's a little key on taking ownership and shadow work. But shadow work, it involves us looking at the uglier, less desirable aspects of ourselves, taking stock of them for what they are, and being able to recognize them and make them work for us, because you see them and they help you intuit what you need to work on in that moment, so that you can evolve. Because the longer those things sit there, the longer you're sitting there with stagnant energy, and also the longer you're dealing with lower vibrational activity. Those things are draining you from reaching the frequencies and vibrations where miraculous healing, shrinking tumors exists, right? If you want to shrink tumors and do all these things, it's available. You just got to raise that vibration. And that's all connected to that pie of your diet, of everything that we're watching, hearing, things that come out of our mouth, because our words are seeds, they manifest. How we are feeling about other people, our situation, all those things are manifesting at all times. So I hope that was kind of helpful. I want to encourage you to marinate on the topic of shadow work. I'm going to be coming back and talking about this over the next week, but I do want to invite you to join the Womb Hang Clan membership over at OperationFibroidFreedom.com. And on May 8th, I will be doing an interactive Zoom experience with all of the class attendees, where we will be applying principles to actively participate in shadow work for fibroid elimination. I will be doing 2 classes in May. The theme for Womb Hang Clan Goddess membership of May is shadow work. So the first class will be Saturday, May 8th, and the second class will be the 22nd. Class will start at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be recorded if you can't make it, but you do need to make it in some way because it'll be interactive. But if you can't make it, we can always, if you're already a member, we can work that out, and I'll be prioritizing being available for those of you that do join. But part 1 will be Saturday, May 8th, where we will be diving deeper and personalizing how we can identify the negative traits, and identify shadow work that we need to do. We'll be applying that, and we'll also be going deeper into getting acquainted with and even befriending the shadow sides of ourselves. And then the second shadow work masterclass in May, that's included with Womb Hang Clan membership, will be applying that specifically to our wombs and natural fibroid freedom. For every goddess that joins, we will be personalizing shadow work to uterine fibroids and why, if you remember, you personally may have developed fibroids and how you can optimize the work, the shadow work, to get rid of fibroids for you, for everybody individually that is in that experience. So you definitely should join. And of course, as we move on, each theme for each month will be different for Womb Hang Clan membership. So there will be more. June, it could be anything. We could be talking about detoxing our thoughts. But I just got a message. Just keep that in mind. And you're all invited to join, Goddess, because we have to take our all aspects of ourselves holistically into account and be real with ourselves about who we are, who everything that has led us up to the point that we find ourselves right now with fibroids, on our natural fibroid healing journeys. We need to look at everything. We have to uncover everything, and we have to do it on a regular basis. So think of Womb Hang Clan membership as kind of like a monthly womb circle for womb wellness and fibroid elimination, where you can come, you can share in interactive format with me, and then also you'll get a lot of extra bonuses. Now, a few more things about shadow work where you can start to do some clues if you are serious. You can, sorry for all the yelling in the background. My family has been partying all week. So we've had like 3 birthdays and it's my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. So if you hear anything, everybody's really happy. It's for good reason. Okay. So if you're serious about shadow work, start to recognize your emotions at any given time, how you are feeling at any given time. If it's a bad or negative emotion, pause, go back, backtrack, and figure out what it is, why you're feeling negative, or why you're feeling shame, why you're feeling guilt. And just think about it. Sit with it for a second and write it down. And then identify what it is so that you can do the work to transmute that or switch it, reframe it so that you can get rid of it. Okay? If you want to do that, if you're serious about prioritizing that, take notes on that and then sign up for Womb Hang Clan membership and we can start to dive deeper together. But that's all I wanted to talk to y'all about today, unless anybody has any other questions for me in the comments. Yeah. If you're not already a member of Womb Hang Clan on Facebook, my free Facebook group, go over to Facebook and search for Womb Hang Clan. I did a great kind of a primer this morning in that group on identifying some goddess keys in relation to the topic of shadow work. And yes, we will be going deeper into the goddess keys with goddess membership and Womb Hang Clan. But other than that, I hope y'all are well. Sending you love, sending you peace. I feel like there's something else that I want to say. I don't know. Maybe I'll save that for next week. Anybody have any questions before I head out? All right. Well, I want to give a big shout out and a hug to The Real Deal for participating, for all your communication and confirmation. And I will be back this week because I want to be, this is shadow work month, really, going into May. But all week, I'm going to be talking about the shadow and shadow work because it's such a cool topic. It's like liberating, really, when you think about it, because it's like we don't have to be a victim to things that we've been told or how we have to be. Thank you, The Real Deal. She said, hug back to you. I appreciate you, goddess. But shadow work frees you. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Yes, I'm glad I didn't end this. Shadow work frees you up from being stuck by a ball and chain to old thoughts, limiting beliefs, somebody else's input or idea for how you should live your life. All of those things encompass the topic of shadow work and can be healed if we do this amazing, rewarding work. Now, I'm glad I didn't end this because I think it's Monday. Let me see here. On Monday, we're going into the Scorpio full moon. I knew there was a reason that I didn't end the live stream. Yeah, it's a full pink moon, right? It's bringing transformation. Now, you already know, if you've watched any of my videos or if you kind of, tapped in anyway, you know that with the full moon, you can really be supported to let things go and detach. Okay? So I've already said it and talked about this in actually one of the first Womb Hang Clan womb circles I did. But this is something where you can see some big time rewards from doing this deeper work with the deeper aspects of yourself. So this would be a great time to journal or make a list of things that you want to release, activities, habits that you no longer want to be attached to, people. And you can make that list and you can shred the list, you can burn the list, you can make a boat out of the list and let it float away into the ocean. No, don't do that because you may pollute the ocean. But you get the point. This is a great time where you can see exponential rewards or acceleration manifesting from the shadow work that we put in motion. Everything is putting things in motion. I don't care how small you think it is. And don't forget, this part of ourselves is the smaller part of ourselves, the non-physical part of ourselves. Our auras, our non-physical bodies, our higher self is massive, right? And if you do this type of work, you are way more massive than you can even imagine in the non-physical realm. So it's important to do this stuff during these times because it is heightened. The powers and the benefits you can see and pull out of doing this energy work at this time will be accelerated and will reflect big rewards back to you now. So that's something that I want to just leave you with. And I will be back since tomorrow's the full moon. I'll come back tomorrow and we can talk a little bit more concrete about the full moon, so that you can have a little bit more of a support and also kind of a little taste of what will be going on in Womb Hang Clan goddess membership. So let's do that. Let's meet back here tomorrow. Make sure I didn't already schedule anything. Let's say 6 p.m. again, Eastern Standard Time. For those of you that were on here today, we'll keep it in alignment. But just start speaking your truth to yourself. Matter of fact, go over some emotions. Let's talk. Let's give you a little shadow work homework right now. Let's journal. Make a list. Is anything giving you anxiety right now? Not necessarily in this moment, but as of late, is there anything that could be giving you anxiety? It could be everything going on in the whole virus field. I don't even want to mention those topics, those words, is something causing anxiety or fear or guilt, shame, Are you worried about things? What types of things are you worried about in these times? Journal these things. Take notes on some emotions that you may be currently finding yourself going back to, replaying, and why that may be. And, we can dive a little bit deeper into some of that if you care to share here on the YouTube in the comments. If not, you can join Goddess membership on Womb Hang Clan and we can go into it deeper person to person in the Zoom. But make that list, and then we're going to talk about how you can transmute the list and release all of those energies tomorrow as it relates to your shadow self. But just remember, the shadow self is not the enemy. Um, the shadow self is actually a gift for us to unlock clues as to why things are out of balance in our lives and in our wombs, and that includes uterine fibroids. So all it takes is for us to recognize it and heed the call and do the work. And that's what I'm here to help you do. My name is Cecily. The platform is Operation Fibroid Freedom. The applied action group is Womb Hang Clan. I hope to see you in the group. I'm sending you peace and love, and I'll see you back here tomorrow at 6 p.m.